In the vast industrial heart of Shenzhen, China, something extraordinary is unfolding. A quiet revolution humming beneath the whir of robotic arms and the gleam of solar panels. It's not just the rise of another electric car. No, this is the story of a battery, a sleek slab-like piece of tech called the Blade Battery. And behind it, a company the West used to scoff at, BYD. But the world isn't laughing anymore, because this battery doesn't just store power, it signals a seismic shift in who controls the future of clean energy and transportation. And spoiler alert, it's not Detroit, it's not Berlin, it's Beijing. For years, Western automakers have treated electric vehicles like accessories, trendy, flashy, but not serious business. EVs were pet projects, press release fodder. Meanwhile, China quietly poured billions into the bones of the EV industry: infrastructure, rare earth mining, battery tech, and policy. Where others dabbled, China committed. And BYD, born in 1995 as a humble rechargeable battery maker, the company didn't just pivot to cars, they reverse-engineered an entire playbook. In 2020, BYD dropped a bombshell, the Blade Battery. It looked unremarkable. A flat rectangular slab. No neon lights, no hype machine, just cold, calculated engineering. But inside, a game changer. While Western car makers clung to nickel and cobalt, expensive, toxic, and supply constrained, BYD went full lithium iron phosphate, or LFP. The Blade Battery ditched the rare metals, delivering lower cost, longer life, and most importantly, unmatched safety. You could literally drive a nail through this thing and it wouldn't catch fire. No thermal runaway, no spontaneous combustion, just calm, dependable power. In a world where Teslas have gone up in flames, BYD's battery offered something rare: peace of mind. To prove it, BYD ran a brutal test: crush it, heat it, even penetrate it with a metal spike. The Blade Battery didn't flinch. Traditional EV batteries, they burst into flames. The Blade just shrugged, and suddenly the rest of the world started paying attention. BYD's move wasn't just about engineering, it was strategy. They cut cobalt dependence, most of which is mined in the war-torn Congo and refined in China. They streamlined production, slashed costs, and made LFP viable for mass-market EVs. Now, even Tesla's Model 3 and Model Y in China use BYD's LFP cells. Ford and Toyota are quietly inking deals. The same companies that once mocked China's cheap knockoffs are now buying their batteries. Let that sink in. Even Warren Buffett saw it coming. Back in 2008, he took a 10% stake in BYD. The world laughed. Why invest in some no-name Chinese battery maker? They said. Well, today BYD is worth more than Ford and GM combined. In 2022, they sold more EVs than Tesla. And unlike Tesla, they make everything in-house: batteries, semiconductors, even microchips. That's not just vertical integration. That's vertical domination. BYD isn't content with Chinese streets. They're expanding across Europe, Latin America, Southeast Asia. They're building factories in Thailand, Hungary, and Brazil. In Mexico, there's talk of a massive new plant aimed right at the U.S. market. BYD isn't knocking on the door of the Western auto giants. They're bulldozing through it, with a battery that doesn't blow up, a price tag that's unbeatable, and a roadmap that's light years ahead. Meanwhile, in Detroit and Stuttgart, panic. Legacy car companies are still stuck in the mud, fighting unions, wrangling software bugs, begging governments for subsidies. They're launching EVs that cost $60,000 and praying customers don't notice the charging network barely works. BYD, they're selling electric hatchbacks in China for $11,000, fully loaded. And with the Blade Battery, they've proven that you don't need to reinvent the wheel, you just need to own the power source. U.S. politicians are finally waking up. There's talk of tariffs, export bans, reshoring supply chains. But here's the cold truth. The West doesn't just have an EV problem, it has a battery problem. Nearly 75% of global battery manufacturing is in China. And when it comes to LFP tech, China, led by BYD and CATL, owns the IP, the factories, and the future. Trying to catch up now is like showing up to a marathon at mile 22, in flip-flops. What's next? BYD isn't stopping at the Blade. They're working on solid-state batteries, sodium-ion breakthroughs, and energy storage systems for homes and grids. They're partnering with cities to electrify buses, taxis, and trains. They're not just selling cars, they're building an ecosystem, an empire. And the Blade Battery? It was just the opening salvo. This isn't just a story about a battery, it's a warning and a wake-up call. While the West debated and delayed, China built. While others mocked, BYD innovated. Now, the balance of power is shifting, not with missiles or markets, but with megawatts. And if you're still underestimating them, that's exactly what they're counting on. In the race for the future, the real war isn't about who builds the fastest car. It's about who controls the battery inside it. And BYD, they're already miles ahead. The Blade Battery isn't just innovation, it's a statement. Subscribe for more real stories shaping our world.